Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have part 2, the anniversary update, the day after we posted the feedback for part 1. So this is going to be my first impression of part 2 with a breakdown of the important patch notes, and later on I'll be doing a stream going over my new veteran builds and trying to god roll a bunch of weapons with the currency I stacked up over the last few weeks. So hopefully I'll see you there. For now, though, we're lighting this off with the shader cache dump. There's a lot of new and returning players experiencing this probably for the first time, so if you're lagging and getting those like crazy FPS drops, then you do have to rebuild it by playing a game or two. After that, everything should just go back to normal, and it's just something that's pretty regular with this game that I know a lot of people aren't used to. Even I wasn't used to it for a while, so after that, you should be good to go. But it's a good thing the new map is a great way to rebuild it because it's even better than the last one. The different points of interest as you progress through it really pass the vibe check with the new music. I think my favorite part was the smoke-filled rooms where you get ambushed. They just look so cinematic, and battling in them felt really awesome with all the little different side rooms and alcoves. I really felt like this entire map was brought to life in a different way that I haven't gotten with the other maps. Like even the ending event where you just have to break stuff is just so different, and I just like that they're changing it up. Again, I'm just super happy with the last map, and this map is even better. So I think this is just a massive W across the board. It really blew me away and exceeded my expectations again. So I'm just really happy that this is the kind of content that we're getting. And I can't wait to play more of it when it rotates into the Auric Maelstrom queue. This was just a normal Auric High 5 STG. And it did feel like the pacing of the enemies in the mission I played was pretty solid. There was a lot of guns, but that's nothing new. The fun part is that we only had to play one mission to get the new boss. He seems to drop traps that basically one-shot you if you get hit by them. And after we killed him, he didn't reappear for the rest of the mission. So I'm not too sure how the whole thing works yet, but it was a cool little encounter, and there was a ton of really cool voice lines just around him. And then in the rest of the mission, it was just, again, the whole thing was just really cinematic and great. And as we played the map, we tested a bunch of the new enemy changes out, and two things were noticeable right away. The trappers finally feel like they are where they should be, at least to me. Now, I haven't played a ton of games with this patch, so I haven't been able to get shot through a wall or anything yet, but being able to stagger them and bully them around feels really good, and having them have the internal cooldown on the trap, so that way when you push them and cancel it, they actually don't just instantly snap it off at you. It felt really good, and we were just pushing them around for a couple minutes, but I do feel like it makes them a lot more fair to play against, at least if they're by themselves. And then in a group or in a horde or something, they become a lot more dangerous, or just as dangerous as they were before. So I think this is overall a really good change because it was one of my main points of contention in the feedback, and I'm just happy they're finally trying to lock the trappers in. Now, the second part was Flame not instantly snapping your toughness, and that does actually feel pretty good. Now, I didn't really notice the HP thing right away because I was playing Commissar, so I had an abundance of toughness. But the HP damage now is pretty insane, so if you get caught out in one, it's basically just instant death. I haven't tested out how good the bomber resistance is on the curios yet, so that might be a really cool thing. But this is probably going to need some work still, and we'll try and test it all out on the stream in a little bit. There was a third thing that really did surprise me, and it was real audio finally got added to the crushers. It was just kind of shocking to see the first thing. So when 12 of them spawn behind us now, we'll at least be able to hear them before we get bonked and then cope about dying to them anyways. So I also got to try out all of the new stims in the game that I played, and I think with the overall reduced healing on the maps, the new med stim is going to be very powerful and rounds out probably most of the like in-between healing stations that are a little too spaced, and I really like that it's part of the game now. The healing was really solid, and I think it will have impact on a lot of games in the future. And when I tried the other ones, Celerity felt pretty good, but it's probably better to pop that and then go hard in melee. The combat stim with the spray down felt pretty good, but I think my absolute favorite was Concentration. When I got to ult multiple times as Commissar, I really felt how strong it could really be. Just being able to slam buffs out like that is going to be like crazy strong, and it's going to have a really high impact on the game. And being able to give them to other people is a nice touch. I really like team play stuff in this game, so I think working together with your team and giving the right people the right stims for those crazy moments is going to be a really fun addition to Darktide that helps you get through games if you use them correctly. Now, after playing around with the vet tree for a little bit, I kind of got carried away and was playing around with it for a little too long, but I still think they should remove the stamina node at the top, but it does feel way better to build out overall now, and I feel like I have a lot of impactful choices to make at the bottom that can make just about any weapon combo I could think of work. And in the last video, I said it was poorly thrown together. So I'm really happy to see that they put a lot of effort into making the bottom of this tree work and feel good to use. So this is another W, and I look forward to showing you guys some of the new builds and different things that I have planned in a little bit. And a lot of the new weapon marks feel really amazing too. The new Mark III shovel I use can one-shot pretty much everything with a crit, and it's just hilariously fun to use. This is the only weapon I rolled up so far because I'm saving the rest for my materials on the stream later, but after playing around with just the basic versions of the other weapons, the Mark VII shovel gets stuck in things for way too long, and I really didn't like the way that felt compared to the Mark III, but with the way they changed the chain axes, I feel like it won't stay this way for very long, because the old chain axe feels really good right now. I think my favorite new tech with it is the ability to dodge cancel the saw animation and just instantly apply 16 bleed stacks to like one tap ragers. So it's pretty fun to use, and I'm really looking forward to being able to enjoy the chain axe for the first time, because it really just made me motion sick snap turning my camera all the time, and apparently that's fixed now, so I'll probably play a few games with it later on. And the new revolver is just really cool. I'm not sure how good it is yet, but Space Cowboys 2 is going to have to happen. And hopefully I can mod my vet to say it's high noon every single time that I hit volley fire, because then we're going to have something special on our hands. But as for the other weapons, I'm not a huge fan of the last pistol changes, and I altogether just don't like the new last pistol's muzzle flash on crit, so I'll play around more with them later. But outside of that, I haven't had enough time to form a more finalized opinion about most of the weapon changes yet, but I do really like that all the new chain weapons are strike down. I just personally wish we got something new. My copium said that we were going to get some new stuff after seeing things get added to the game files, but data mine stuff is something from the warp, and I got too deep in it and only disappointed myself into not being able to use a melt-a-gun yet, but at least my new shovel is Himothy. I did see a suggestion in the comments on the last video that they should add a full auto toggle as a default option just for things like the combat blade or the MG4 lasgun, and I think that would be a really good idea for a lot of the single shot weapons, so we didn't have to rely on a mod to use them, because I don't feel like clicking 10,000 times in one game. I know most people don't either, so hopefully they end up doing something like that in the future. But I think another really important change here was to the plasma gun. If this is actually fixed now, it means that there's no more weird damage swings that make the weapon inconsistent, and the Helbore last gun change should help it be more consistent too. And I think everything being consistent is one of the most important things for this game to push towards. So seeing them take action on these things that have needed attention for so long is another W. For now, my overall summary and first impressions with patch 15 part 2 is that the new map is basically perfect. I really, really enjoy it. The new vet tree feels good to build out, which is a great change of pace as it's my main character. The enemy changes are finally going in the right direction, which is just a breath of fresh air. The Stimms finally getting ported into Darktide are just overall great for the game, and some of the new weapon marks are just really well done. The weapon balance is pretty neutral for me right now, and I'll be playing around a lot with the new weapons this week and doing my thoughts and opinions with another tier list update with the new stuff after I can use the mod to check everything out in its perfect state. And as for stability, the servers are usually really good during the first week of a big update, so we'll see how that stability and all the audio stuff goes over the course of the next week. Now, as for the negatives, this list is a lot smaller this time around, thankfully, but crafting is still bad for the long-term health of the game, and having to craft new weapons is going to shine an extra big light on this. I still think Orc Maelstrom missions need a better rotation. There needs to be 2 pieces to this where it's a guaranteed different map and different modifier. That way, you're not reliant on a mod to be able to do it. And I still feel like the game is becoming too mod dependent, and I think that the new Flame Grenadiers are going to be a little bit of a problem. But a lot of things I didn't like about part 1 got hit with improvements, and hopefully from here they just keep making the game better. So I think a lot of these changes were very important for the long-term health of the game, and I really want them to get a hot fix out and just fix anything that's broken before they leave for the Christmas holidays. And that would just be the icing on the cake to make this the patch that it deserved to be. And I do also want to thank you guys again for just all the love and support. It's really amazing. So just thank you. And there's a hidden bonus. The new map is in the game files, and the redacted message probably refers to this mission. So I won't post the full cinematic, but just a picture of the Karnak twins. So it's pretty confirmed that we're going to get to battle it out with them very soon. But that's going to be all for now. I hope I see you guys at the stream later, and I wish you the best of luck out there.